ielts Speaking Part 1. Today's topic is outer space and stars. We'll brainstorm every question together, and then I'll give you a full set of 9 answers. First, a quick reminder of what Part 1 actually is. It lasts about 4 to 5 minutes, and it comes at the very start of the test. The examiner asks short questions on familiar, everyday topics. You usually get 3 topics with 3 or 4 questions each. Aim for 2 to 3 sentences per answer. That's long enough to show your range, but short enough to still sound natural. Here are our 4 questions. Do you learn about outer space and stars at school? Do you enjoy watching films about outer space and stars? Do you want to study outer space and stars? And do you want to travel to outer space in the future? Pause the video now and think about your own answers before you hear mine. Every answer in this video is built the same way. I call it the RE method. Is for answer. Give a clear, direct answer in the first few words. Never make the examiner wait. R is for reason. Add why. A reason, a detail, or a little background. E is for extend. Finish with an example, a contrast, or a personal touch, and then stop. One warning: don't memorize your answers. Part 1 rewards speech that sounds spontaneous, not recited. Question 1. Do you learn about outer space and stars at school? Let's brainstorm. For the answer, I'll say yes, but only lightly. It wasn't a separate subject, for the reason it appeared as a unit inside physics. The solar system, the life cycle of a star. And to extend, I'll add a personal feeling. I wished there had been more of it. Notice the hedge there. A qualified yes sounds far more natural than a flat one. Here's the full answer. We did, yes, though not in any great depth. Astronomy wasn't a subject in its own right. It came up as a unit inside physics, so we covered the solar system and the life cycle of a star and then moved on. Honestly, I'd have liked a bit more of it, because that was easily the part of the syllabus I looked forward to. Question 2. Do you enjoy watching films about outer space and stars? For the answer, an emphatic yes. Use something stronger than just yes I do. For the reason, the scale of space works brilliantly on a big screen. And to extend, I'll narrow my preference. Realistic space films over pure fantasy plus one example. Putting a preference inside a yes shows real range. You're not just answering the question, you're specifying. Very much so. There's something about the sheer scale of space that works brilliantly on a big screen. You get this real sense of how small we are. I'm particularly drawn to the ones that stick fairly closely to actual science, rather than the ones where spaceships roar past in a vacuum. Interstellar is the obvious example. I must have watched it 3 or 4 times. Question 3. Do you want to study outer space and stars? Here I'm going to split the question. No to formal study, but yes as a hobby. A yes and no answer is a strong move. For the reason, I'll be honest about the barrier, the maths for astrophysics. And to extend, a concrete future plan. Buy a telescope, learn the night sky. Splitting a question into 2 halves is one of the easiest ways to sound spontaneous. Not formally, no. I don't think I've got the maths for astrophysics, to be perfectly honest. But as a hobby, absolutely. I've been meaning to get hold of a decent telescope and learn to find things in the night sky properly, rather than just recognizing the 1 or 2 constellations everybody knows. Question 4. Do you want to travel to outer space in the future? For the answer, I'll be divided. Part of me would, but the risk puts me off. For the reason, I'll use a conditional. If it became as safe as long-haul flying, and to extend a light, decisive closing line, I'll leave it to the professionals. That conditional is your best friend here. It lifts your grammatical range instantly. Part of me would love to, but I'd be lying if I said the risks didn't put me off slightly. If commercial spaceflight ever became as routine and as safe as flying long haul, then yes, I'd jump at the chance to see the Earth from orbit. As things stand, though, I think I'll leave that one to the professionals. Here is the complete exchange on one screen, so you can see how the 4 answers work together. Notice that no 2 answers open the same way. That variety matters. Pause here and read it through. Now your language bank. On the left, topic vocabulary. Outer space, the night sky, a constellation, the solar system, the life cycle of a star, astronomy and astrophysics, commercial spaceflight, and to see the Earth from orbit. On the right, the functional phrases that did the real work. Very much so. Not formally, no, but, to be perfectly honest, I've been meaning to. Part of me would love to, but I'd be lying if I said I'd jump at the chance to. And, as things stand, though, one grammar point worth memorizing. Outer space takes no article. Say, travel to outer space, not travel to the outer space. So why do these answers sit at band 9? Fluency and coherence. They flow without effort, and any hesitation is for thinking, not for hunting for words. Lexical resource. Natural idiomatic phrases used precisely. Sheer scale. Jump at the chance. Grammatical range. Conditionals, perfect forms, and comparatives all appear without strain. And pronunciation. Clear throughout, with stress and intonation carrying the meaning. One important caveat. Band 9 here reflects our own quality check against the public ielts band descriptors. It is not a certified examiner score. Now it's your turn. Record yourself answering all 4 questions. You say R.B. 2 to 3 sentences each. Then listen back and ask yourself one question. Did I actually answer within the first 5 words? If you found this useful, subscribe to BMaster79 for more IELTS walkthroughs. See you in the next one.